Hello everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We're excited to have you here. In today's video, we're going to explore one of the most important changes happening inside modern SaaS businesses, and that is AI automation for lead generation and B2B sales funnels. If you are building a SaaS startup, managing a software company, leading a B2B sales team, or trying to generate more qualified opportunities without simply adding more people to your sales organization, this topic can completely change the way you think about growth. In this video, we'll break down how AI is changing the way SaaS companies discover prospects, identify buying signals, qualify leads, personalize outreach, automate follow-ups, and move potential customers through the sales funnel. We'll also look at why simply adding AI tools is not enough, where the biggest opportunities actually exist, and how companies can build a smarter sales system that creates more pipeline while allowing human salespeople to focus on the conversations that matter most. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's video. Imagine two SaaS companies selling very similar software to the same type of B2B customers. Both have experienced sales teams, both run paid advertising, both publish content, both collect leads through their websites, both use a CRM, and both have thousands of potential prospects sitting somewhere inside their sales databases. But one company keeps struggling with low-quality leads, slow follow-ups, outdated prospect information, missed buying signals, and salespeople spending hours researching accounts that never convert. The other company seems to operate differently. Its sales team receives prioritized opportunities instead of endless lists of contacts. Prospects receive relevant information at the right moment. Follow-ups happen consistently. Buying signals are identified earlier. Sales representatives spend less time searching for information and more time having meaningful conversations. At first glance, it might look like the second company simply has a better sales team, but often the deeper difference is that one company has built AI into the sales funnel itself. That distinction matters more than most SaaS founders realize. A lot of companies still think of lead generation as a simple equation. Generate traffic, collect emails, send messages, book meetings, and close deals. But modern B2B buying behavior is much more complicated than that. A prospect may discover your company through search, read several articles, visit your pricing page, compare competitors, watch a product's demonstration, speak with another person inside their organization, disappear for 3 weeks, and then suddenly return when the business problem becomes urgent. Traditional sales systems can struggle to connect all of those signals. AI, however, can analyze large amounts of structured and unstructured information and help turn those disconnected signals into a more coherent picture of opportunity. And this is exactly where the conversation becomes interesting. Because AI automation is not simply making salespeople faster at sending emails. It is beginning to change how companies decide who to pursue, when to engage, what to say, which action to take next, and when a human should enter the conversation. McKinsey's 2025 research on generative AI in B2B sales identified use cases such as next best opportunity, next best action, lead generation, account research, personalization, and automated customer engagement as important ways AI can influence the deal cycle. Their research also found that only a minority of B2B decision makers were already implementing generative AI use cases for buying and selling, while another group was still in the process of doing so. That tells us something important. The technology is advancing quickly, but many companies are still figuring out how to turn it into a real commercial advantage. And that leads us to the single most important idea in this entire video. The purpose of AI automation in lead generation is not to create more leads. It is to create more useful opportunities. There is a massive difference between those two things. A database containing 10,000 contacts may look impressive, but if most of those contacts have no need, no authority, no timing, and no genuine interest in your product, then your sales team has not received 10,000 opportunities. It has received 10,000 problems to sort through. Real AI automation should reduce that noise. It should help the business understand which prospects matter, why they matter, what signal suggests they may be ready, and what should happen next. The first strategy for transforming SaaS lead generation with AI is using artificial intelligence to identify the right opportunities before your sales team spends time chasing them. Traditional prospecting often depends heavily on predefined lists, demographic filters, purchase databases, or broad ideal customer profiles. Those methods can still be useful, but they do not always capture what is happening inside an account right now. A company may suddenly be hiring aggressively. It may launch a new product. It may enter a new market. It may acquire another business. It may begin using a technology that integrates with your product. It may announce a strategic initiative that creates exactly the problem your SaaS solution solves. Those events can become buying signals. AI can help connect those signals. Instead of asking only, does this company look like our ideal customer? The system can begin asking, is something happening inside this company that makes our solution more relevant right now? That is a much more powerful question. McKinsey's recent research describes this as identifying the next best opportunity. AI systems can combine information from different sources, including company information, news reports, transaction data, CRM records, and other signals, and then help sellers prioritize where they should focus. The advantage is not simply speed, it is context. A salesperson does not just receive a company name. Ideally, they receive a reason that the company deserves attention. And that changes the psychology of prospecting. Instead of beginning every sales conversation with a generic pitch, the seller can begin with a stronger understanding of what may be happening inside the prospect's business. That makes the conversation more relevant from the beginning. But opportunity identification is only the first part of the transformation. The second strategy is using AI to enrich and understand every lead before the first meaningful sales interaction. One of the most time-consuming parts of B2B selling has always been research. Salespeople open company websites. They search LinkedIn. They review annual reports. They look at recent announcements. They check the CRM. They try to understand the organization, its industry, its current priorities, its existing technology, and the people who may influence the buying decision. And after all of that work, they still have to turn the information into an actual sales strategy. AI can compress much of this process. Instead of forcing a salesperson to collect information manually from multiple places, AI can summarize relevant account information, identify potential decision makers, highlight business changes, organize previous interactions, and create a concise account picture. McKinsey describes how generative AI can synthesize information from multiple sources into seller battle cards and recommendations that help teams identify their next opportunity. The goal is not to replace account research with a robotic summary. The goal is to give the salesperson a much stronger starting point. And that matters because preparation affects the quality of the conversation. A prospect does not want to explain their entire business to a salesperson who could have spent 5 minutes understanding the basics. They want someone who already understands the context and can ask better questions. AI can help make that possible at scale. The third strategy is moving from static lead scoring to dynamic intent detection. Traditional lead scoring often assigns points based on actions. Someone downloads a white paper, they get points. Someone visits the pricing page, they get more points. Someone attends a webinar, they get additional points. Eventually, the score crosses a threshold and the lead gets sent to sales. The problem is that behavior does not always mean intent. Someone might visit your pricing page because they are researching the market. Someone might download a report because they are doing academic research. Someone might attend a webinar without having any intention of buying. Meanwhile, another prospect might show a combination of subtle signals that individually appear insignificant, but collectively suggest strong buying intent. AI can help detect those patterns. Instead of treating every signal equally, machine learning systems can analyze combinations of behaviors, historical conversion patterns, account characteristics, engagement changes, and other contextual information. The result can be a more dynamic view of lead quality, and this is where AI starts moving the sales funnel from a static model to a responsive one. The system is no longer simply waiting for a prospect to reach an arbitrary score. It is continuously evaluating whether the prospect's behavior is becoming more commercially meaningful. That distinction can have a major impact on sales efficiency. If a lead suddenly becomes highly engaged, the system can prioritize it. If another lead has stopped interacting, the system can reduce its priority. If an account is showing strong product interest but has not yet spoken with sales, the system can recommend a different action. If a prospect is clearly not ready, the system can keep nurturing them instead of forcing a salesperson into the conversation too early. The fourth strategy is using AI to determine the next best action, instead of simply generating the next message. This may be one of the most important changes in modern B2B sales. For years, sales automation has largely meant sending more messages, more emails, more sequences, more reminders, more LinkedIn touches, more follow-ups. But more activity does not automatically create more revenue. Sometimes the best action is another email. Sometimes it is a phone call. Sometimes it is an invitation to a webinar. Sometimes it is a product demonstration. Sometimes it is a personalized case study. Sometimes the best action is to do nothing for 2 weeks. AI can help make that decision. McKinsey's B2B research describes next best action systems that can help determine whether a lead should enter a nurture sequence, receive a targeted campaign, be prioritized for one-to-one interaction, or receive a different type of engagement. This is an important evolution because it moves automation away from what can we send next and toward what should happen next. That is a much better question, and it becomes especially powerful when the system considers the entire funnel. A new prospect may need education. A highly engaged trial user may need a product conversation. A procurement stage account may need pricing support. A stalled opportunity may need a different stakeholder. A long-term prospect may simply need to remain visible until timing changes. The same automation engine does not need to treat every person identically. It can adapt, and that is where the sales funnel starts becoming intelligent. The fifth strategy is using AI to personalize outbound sales without turning personalization into another form of spam. This is an area where many companies are already experimenting heavily. AI can generate personalized emails in seconds. It can summarize a prospect's company. It can create different value propositions for different industries. It can help salespeople prepare talking points. It can even adjust messaging based on signals from previous interactions. But there is a major danger here. If every company starts using AI to generate thousands of personalized messages, the internet could simply become flooded with better written spam. And that would defeat the entire purpose. True personalization is not about inserting information into a template. It is about making the message more relevant, because you understand something meaningful about the recipient. If a company has just expanded into a new market, and your product solves a problem created by that expansion, that is useful context. If a prospect recently announced a technology initiative that your platform supports that can create a relevant reason to reach out, if the prospect has already interacted with your product and demonstrated a specific need, your message should reflect that. But if AI simply writes a longer email containing 5 facts copied from a company website, the result may look personalized without actually being useful. The best AI systems therefore combine personalization with intent. They do not just ask, what can we say about this prospect? They ask, what information makes this conversation more valuable for this prospect right now? That is a completely different approach. The sixth strategy is automating lead nurturing without losing the human relationship. Not every B2B prospect is ready to buy today. In fact, many potential customers may recognize the problem you solve long before they are prepared to make a purchasing decision. Maybe the budget is not available yet. Maybe the company is still evaluating options. Maybe the leadership team has not approved the project. Maybe an existing contract does not expire for another 6 months. Maybe the prospect simply needs more education. Traditional sales funnels often struggle with this middle ground. A lead is either handed to sales or placed into a generic email sequence. AI can make this stage much more intelligent. The system can observe engagement, understand what content the prospect is consuming, detect changes in interest, and adjust the nurturing experience accordingly. Someone researching a problem may receive educational content. Someone comparing solutions may receive implementation information. Someone showing stronger buying signals may be routed toward a conversation with sales. This creates a funnel that changes with the prospect, and that matters because B2B buying journeys are rarely perfectly linear. A prospect can move forward, pause, return, involve new stakeholders, disappear, and then suddenly become highly active again. AI can help the system recognize those changes instead of forcing every prospect through the same sequence. The seventh strategy is connecting marketing and sales intelligence, instead of allowing the two teams to operate as separate systems. This is a problem many SaaS companies have experienced for years. Marketing says, "We generated thousands of leads." Sales says, "Most of them are useless." Marketing says, "Sales is not following up." Sales says, "The leads are not ready." Meanwhile, the customer is moving through the buying journey somewhere in between those two departments. AI can help create a shared intelligence layer. Marketing data, CRM information, product usage, website behavior, campaign engagement, sales conversations, support interactions, and account information can be combined to create a more complete picture of the prospect. That does not automatically solve organizational problems, but it can make the underlying information more connected. And once marketing and sales are looking at the same signals, they can begin optimizing the same outcome. Not lead volume, not email volume, not meetings booked. Qualified pipeline and revenue. That distinction is critical. A funnel can generate enormous activity and still produce weak economics. The goal is to build a system where every stage contributes to the next one. Marketing identifies demand. AI helps identify which demand matters. Sales receives better context. Automation handles repetitive work. Human sellers handle complex conversations. The CRM records what happened. AI learns from the results, and the system becomes better over time. That is what a connected AI sales funnel starts to look like. The eighth strategy is using AI to automate the administrative work that quietly consumes sales capacity. This may not sound as exciting as autonomous sales agents, but it can have enormous practical value. Salespeople spend significant amounts of time updating CRM records, summarizing meetings, writing follow-up notes, preparing proposals, searching for information, creating reports, and coordinating internal tasks. None of these activities are necessarily the reason someone became a salesperson. They are necessary, but they can consume time that could otherwise be spent understanding customers and advancing opportunities. McKinsey has previously estimated that a meaningful portion of sales tasks and processes can be partially automated, including activities across sales planning, lead management, quotation, order management, and post-sales work. AI can now take that further by summarizing conversations, extracting action items, updating records, drafting follow-ups, preparing account summaries, and helping sellers retrieve information without manually searching through multiple systems. The important point is not that every administrative task should disappear. The point is that salespeople should spend more of their limited attention on activities where human judgment creates the most value. That means better conversations, better discovery, better negotiation, better problem solving, better relationships. And that brings us to one of the most important principles in AI-powered sales. Automation should not make sales less human. It should make human salespeople more valuable. The ninth strategy is building AI agents into the funnel, carefully rather than trying to automate the entire sales organization overnight. The rise of agentic AI is changing this conversation because agents can potentially perform sequences of connected tasks rather than simply responding to individual prompts. An AI agent could identify a prospect, research the account, enrich the contact, evaluate intent signals, prepare personalized outreach, monitor responses, schedule a meeting, update the CRM, and hand the opportunity to a salesperson when the prospect becomes sales ready. That sounds powerful. And it is, but it also introduces new risks. An agent operating across multiple systems needs reliable data, clear permissions, strong monitoring, and well-defined boundaries. A bad automation can create bad outcomes very quickly. Imagine an AI agent contacting thousands of prospects with inaccurate assumptions, sending messages to the wrong people, or continuing outreach after a prospect has clearly asked not to be contacted. The speed of automation can amplify mistakes just as easily as it amplifies success. That is why supervised automation is often the smarter starting point. Let AI perform research, let it prioritize, let it draft, let it recommend, let it automate low-risk actions, but keep humans involved when decisions involve significant commercial judgment, sensitive information, major negotiations, or complex customer relationships. Over time, as the system becomes more reliable, automation can expand. The goal is not maximum autonomy. The goal is maximum useful leverage. The 10th strategy is measuring the funnel based on business outcomes instead of AI activity. This is where many companies can get distracted. They may proudly report that their AI system generated 50,000 emails, summarized 20,000 accounts, or processed millions of data points. But none of those numbers automatically mean the business is growing. The metrics that matter are different. Are qualified opportunities increasing? Is conversion improving? Is the sales cycle becoming shorter? Are salespeople spending more time with high-value prospects? Is pipeline quality improving? Are meetings turning into opportunities at a higher rate? Is customer acquisition becoming more efficient? Are deals expanding? Is revenue increasing? Those are the measurements that tell you whether AI automation is actually working. McKinsey's recent 2026 research makes this distinction particularly important. Their research describes a growing gap between companies experimenting with AI and companies actually capturing material value. Growth leaders are increasingly rewiring entire commercial workflows rather than simply adding AI tools to existing processes. That is the bigger lesson. Adding AI to a broken funnel does not necessarily create a better funnel. Sometimes it simply creates a faster broken funnel. If your CRM data is inaccurate, fix the data. If your qualification criteria are unclear, fix the criteria. If marketing and sales disagree about what a qualified opportunity means, solve that problem. If your value proposition is weak, AI-generated copy will not magically repair it. AI becomes powerful when it is connected to a well-designed commercial process. And perhaps the most important strategy of all is understanding where human judgment still wins. B2B sales is not simply a transaction between a buyer and a software interface. Especially in complex SaaS sales, customers may be making decisions involving budgets, security, compliance, implementation, employees, integrations, and long-term operational changes. They may want someone who understands their situation. They may want someone who can challenge their assumptions. They may want someone who can negotiate. They may want someone who can take responsibility when something goes wrong. AI can accelerate research, analysis, preparation, and execution. But trust is still built through meaningful human interaction. That is why the future of SaaS sales is unlikely to be humans versus AI. It is much more likely to be humans with AI versus humans without it. A salesperson equipped with an intelligent system can enter a meeting with better context. They can understand the account faster. They can identify the likely business problem. They can prepare relevant questions. They can respond faster after the meeting. They can prioritize opportunities more intelligently. And they can spend less time performing repetitive, administrative work. The technology does not eliminate the salesperson. It changes what the salesperson is capable of doing. And that leads us to the bigger picture. AI automation is transforming SaaS lead generation and B2B sales funnels because it is changing the economics of attention. For decades, sales organizations had a basic limitation. There were more potential customers than salespeople could realistically research, contact, qualify, and follow up with. That created a trade-off. If you wanted more coverage, you needed more people. If you wanted more personalization, you needed more time. If you wanted faster follow-up, you needed more capacity. AI begins to change that equation. It can process information at machine speed while allowing human teams to concentrate their attention where it has the greatest commercial value. But the companies that benefit most will not necessarily be the ones that automate the most. They will be the ones that understand the funnel best. They will know where leads are being lost. They will know which signals predict buying intent. They will know which tasks consume seller time. They will know which interactions require humans. And they will connect AI to those specific problems. That is the real opportunity. Not AI-generated spam. Not endless automation for the sake of automation. Not replacing every salesperson with an agent. The opportunity is building a sales system that can see more, understand more, respond faster, and learn continuously while keeping human judgment at the center of important decisions. And maybe that is the biggest shift of all. The old B2B sales funnel was largely designed around stages: awareness, lead generation, qualification, nurturing, meeting, proposal, negotiation, close. In an AI-enabled SaaS business, those stages can become much more dynamic. Signals can flow between them. Customer behavior can change priorities in real time. AI can recommend what should happen next. Agents can execute repetitive actions. Salespeople can intervene when human judgment matters most. And every interaction can create information that improves the next decision. The funnel stops behaving like a straight line. It starts behaving more like an intelligent system. That is where the real transformation is happening. Because the future of SaaS sales is not simply about generating more leads. It is about understanding the right leads earlier, creating better conversations, removing unnecessary friction, and moving qualified opportunities toward value faster. Companies that learn how to do that will have an enormous advantage. They can build more pipeline without increasing headcount at the same pace. They can give salespeople better information without overwhelming them with more dashboards. They can personalize outreach without turning every interaction into manual work. They can nurture prospects for longer without losing visibility. And they can create a more consistent customer journey from the first signal of interest all the way to the final buying decision. But there will still be challenges. AI systems can make mistakes. Data can be incomplete. Automation can become excessive. Customers can become frustrated when they cannot reach a human. And poorly designed agents can amplify bad processes instead of fixing them. That is why the smartest SaaS companies will approach AI automation as a business transformation, not simply a software purchase. They will start with the bottleneck. They will define the outcome. They will connect the data. They will test the workflow. They will keep humans involved where judgment matters. And then they will scale what actually works. Ultimately, AI automation for SaaS lead generation and B2B sales is not about making the sales funnel feel more futuristic. It is about making it more intelligent. It is about replacing guesswork with better signals, repetitive work with automation, disconnected systems with shared intelligence, and generic outreach with meaningful relevance. The companies that understand this will not just generate more leads, they will generate better opportunities. They will give their sales teams more leverage. They will move prospects through the buying journey with less friction. And most importantly, they will create a sales engine that can become more effective as it learns from every interaction. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. I hope you found this information valuable and learned something that can help you generate better leads and grow your SaaS business more intelligently in the years ahead. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. We'd also love to hear your thoughts, questions, or experiences in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of our growing community. Take care, stay motivated, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.